Hello friends, this is Self-Critical Automaton, the voice of the voiceless singer, and today it's time for episode 3 of me playing Transistor. So, once again we're going to pick up exactly where we left off, diving straight into the boss fight that is down these stairs. It's a pretty long one, which is why I didn't want to have it be the end of the previous episode, because it would have meant I was like 5 minutes over time, and nobody cares about that except me, but, you know, geez, these union rules, you know, I've got to maintain my own resistance in the face of management. It's very important. Of course, I'm also management, so... Anyway, there's apparently 435 seats left. That's lucky.
Gotta be a leader somewhere. Poll's a little out of date.
Next month's show. It's down to the final round for next month's headliner at the #1 venue in Cloudbank.
Facsimile's finally gonna catch a break.
Sensational Red versus Downtown District's hottest at Well, I phrased that pretty badly, by which I mean read it completely wrong. Downtown's hottest act, Facsimile. Who will it be? You decide. I feel like Red's the kind of person who would vote for the other person, rather than for herself.
They never had a chance against the champ.
Another fun thing is that I think the answers of all of these are somewhat randomized. I don't think Facsimile ever wins, however, the amount by which Red wins changes.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get this over with. Let's go revisit the site of Red's literally yesterday trauma. This is where they sort of explain the opening and the plot, like, actually kicks off rather than having you wander around.
When I first saw you up on that stage back there, it was like... everyone loved you. Everyone except for them. Come on, you can do it.
When you speak, I hear silence. Every word a defiance. I can hear, oh, I can hear. Think I'll go where it suits me. Moving now to the country. With everyone, oh everyone, before we all become one. You'll become.
What? Where? How? No. Hey. Red, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Don't be gone. Please don't be gone. I can't. I'm here.
Do you want a bridge?
I'm over here.
No, I want help.
If she's hurt, I'll what? I'll what? I'll nothing. Hey. That you? Oh. Look at you. You're alive. Me, I'm not so sure. Could use your help. I know this looks bad. Hey, say something already. Say something, will you? Oh no. She's here. Look who it is. Hello again, Sybil. You.
So, this is the first boss fight, but I hope I spend it talking pretty much entirely about that cutscene, because
Lost your damn
it's not that difficult. Well, it can be difficult, but it's more an issue of not taking too much damage. So this is Sybil, who is one of the first Camerarata members, which we know, that we will meet, which we know because we just saw that in the cutscene. And we'll learn a fair amount about these people over the course of this game. But I just want to point out what an absolutely gorgeous cutscene it was. The effortless, stylish skill on display by the game's lead artist, Gen Z, is just astonishing and constant. It's obviously always clearest during those cutscenes, which is when, you know, they can really flex their muscles. I don't know their gender, so I'm just going to say they. I have no idea what the correct pronoun would be. But anyway, so I did mention this before, the possibility of stealing enemy things to make good healing for you, which is a strange way to phrase that, but let's go for it. But it's also in those cutscenes that the Klimt influence on this game in particular is even more clear. The use of poses and the kinds of patterning that are present are very, very Klimt. And they're present everywhere in the game. You can see them in the patterns on the floor in this area.
Just you and her now.
But they really evoke Klimt's most famous paintings, while still maintaining, you know, Gen Z's own artistic style, which itself is just gorgeous. Painterly is the word I usually default to, but it feels kind of absurd to describe a painter's art as being good because it's painterly, if you know what I mean. Let's not be in that when it lands. It's pretty hard to figure out how to essentially dodge the various different attacks. It looks like you get a free turn when you are about to lose lose one of your things due to damage. I will point out I'm still very, very tired because I'm still very, very sick, so I'm not operating on 100%, so no telling me to get good. Actually, no, feel free to tell me to get good. I can always use a little bit of good-natured ribbing, as they say. Does anyone say that? No, I don't think anyone does. But if you notice these patterns on the floor, they're pretty much the same as the patterns which are used in... Did I regain some health, or is there some other reason why I'm getting an emergency turn? Regardless, let's go remove this thing. What the fuck was I talking about? I was talking about Klimt. So, the way that these floating, sliding figures are used, and the way that they... is it giving me more of these free turns than I should be getting? Why am I none of my functions breaking as I take damage? Oh, all of these missed. One of the difficulties with fighting Sybil, there we go. Oh, I lost Crash, that was my most important move. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna have to spam this until she dies. If you keep your distance sufficiently, that's one way of avoiding her attacks, but she homes in and there's really no delay between the wind-up and the attack, so it's really difficult to actually dodge it, since she just, you know, redirects to you in the instant before the attack.
Still charging.
Then again, maybe I'm not great at this. So, yeah, we learn what happened at the fateful event last night. Namely, a group of individuals called the Camerarata, who they are we don't know yet, attempted to assassinate, presumably, Red, and a large man with boxing tape, who I will continue referring to as the Boxer, threw himself in the way, becoming absorbed into the sword instead of her.
She's finished.
And then we came outside and discovered that the world was being devoured.
Can't leave her like this.
Video games as a medium have a weird obsession with making you mercy kill people. It's really common, and I don't know why, but
Bye, Sybil.
the game won't continue until you do.
Or Trace. Hello again, Sybil. Your Camerarata friends. I want you to tell us where they are. Do you understand?
A lot of XP out of that one. Huh. I actually don't use this one very much because I don't particularly think it's that useful. But we also unlock the back door.
We got our lead. We're going downtown. The process will be waiting for us.
Processed crime scene. This must be where the event happened.
Sybil, after our run-in, I don't think she ever left.
It said witnesses 6. Presumably that's the 4 members of the Camerarata, Red, and the Boxer, who is now of course the Sword. Not sure there's anything else in here. But yeah, the Camerarata are essentially... It's not clear to me whether they are the actual government of this city or whether they are a secret society who want to rule it, but you will,
With any luck,
if you pay attention, notice their emblem embossed pretty much everywhere. It's on stone paving slabs and all sorts of things. And if you pay extra close attention, you might notice that that emblem is a picture of the Transistor itself, the sword that Red now is carrying. So I'm just going to fiddle with these a little bit. Actually, let's check this first.
Sybil Rise, life of the party. She was bad news from the first.
She reminds me of someone I know, actually. I'll read these later when I've unlocked some. Anyway, so I'll catch up with you in a second.
All set.
And we're back.
Hey.
Make model bweh Type 8. Let's get out of here.
You'll be back someday.
Loaded words, really. To quote a different game, never make a girl a promise if you can't keep it.
Camerarata. Sybil was their eyes and ears. Got close to you. To us. You were hunting people. Don't know for what. But I bet I know who does. I'm gonna ask him why. And I have this feeling he's gonna let us know.
Every single shot of this game, all of its cutscenes, are just so effortlessly stylish. And I do want it to, again, just shout out the
Close as the river's gonna take us.
the incredibly strong character designs that every single one of these games Gen Z has worked on have had. They all look great. The mark of a good character design is that you can tell what that person is, who they are, from their appearance. Obviously you shouldn't judge by appearances in real life. Also, 0 wave jumps? Wow, Red. You need to get some hang time.
Got us pretty far. Chance to rest your feet too. And your arms.
What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, the mark of a good character design is
Road to high rise should be right around the corner.
that you can tell, to some extent,
Heads up.
who the character is as a person and what their role is in the narrative based on looking at them. Obviously, you shouldn't judge people by appearance in real life, and also, very frequently that means that, you know, evil people are assigned character traits that are not inherently negative and are in fact politicized, for example, queerness, ugliness, and so on, in order to indicate their, evilness or whatever within the narrative. But, that's a well-discussed and well-known problem. And it's entirely possible, and indeed
still a step ahead.
Ideal
But
to
they haven't stopped us.
design your characters with an eye to actually, making their appearance tell the viewer something. Because in a visual medium, you should use every
What do
single
we have here?
component at your disposal in order to tell your story.
Sounds like waves. So, don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this.
Honestly, one of my greatest desires is one day to be able to paint like Gen Z. If I ever manage to actually paint again, like, that's where my goal is to end up.
That symbol, always palling up to you and everybody. Showed her true colors back there. Wonder how her Camerarata friends are gonna feel knowing she's leading us straight to them.
So, the back doors are these accesses into this little extra space, which belonged solely to Sybil, and it tells us a little bit about her that, with major spoilers for the entire rest of the game, access to an artifact that allows you to essentially rewrite the reality you're living in. She chose to do it to give herself a secret space to get away from everybody else. Like, it's interesting and endearing to me that there's that little bit of depth to the socialite character, that, like, her granted wish from this artifact is that she gets a place to herself where she can escape and be alone and relax.
Let's try door number 1.
So as I go through the game,
Sand.
I'm going to
Water.
yeah, okay.
Nothing.
I'm going to unlock a ton of these bonus challenges. That is another thing that Supergiant as a studio is kind of obsessed with.
Get ready.
They have sort of these thematic obsessions, such as, eternally repeating cycles and so on. But they also have these mechanical obsessions, these particular mechanics that they return to over and over again, implementing differently and interacting with differently and playing with differently and changing up and so on. That's not going to hit anything. Neither is that. Let's crash this guy and then bounce. So, and one of them is the idea of these, I say the idea, just the system of mechanics where you have a really robust combat system that is highly adaptable to what you want to do as a player, highly customizable. But then also pairing that with challenge modes that force you to kind of improvise based around those things. So as we go through this game in particular, we'll run into a ton of these, and we'll unlock more here in the secret beach club funhouse zone. But I'm actually not going to show you all of them. I'm showing you this one so you can see what they're like, but most of them are very samey, and also I think that you unlock randomized ones at a certain point, while this one itself is not randomized.
Can't even take us on their own turf.
So what I'm
There'll be more of them.
So what I'm going to do is, edit those out, and just let you know what was in them if it's interesting. But I will keep up with them as we go through the game regardless.
Now I know what's in door number 2.
I don't actually know if they count for things like experience points or unlocking stories of the various people trapped in your sword. But yeah, so they have this really specific...
Hello, what's this?
really specific sets of mechanics that they interact with. Arena-based positional combat. A wide variety of skills, of which you can only use a small subsection, so that you customize and experiment. But, interestingly,
Better go.
according to a Gamma Sutra an article on their where
So
they
maybe
talk
more than
about their
before.
desires and designs for this system. They actually wanted to design a system that disencouraged experimentation and kind of ending up having a comfort skill, but encouraged improvisation. And there's a few ways they tried to do that, but I don't think it was wholly successful. Over under 48, 1110. 1110? 110.
That does it.
Postponed. Hammers versus Clientele. The week's hotly awaited pennant playoffs rescheduled for a later date.
I swear this day. Get myself killed. Now the pennant game's cancelled.
Word from Central Authority is that the high-rise Hammers will not be playing against the defending champions, the Sunset Clientele, as previously expected. Authorities declined to comment on the reasons for the last-minute delay, but assured fans of both teams that the season is expected to resume soon, and that all ticket holders will be entitled to a complimentary gift. More news as it develops. There's no way this is an isolated incident. The process is... No way the authorities giving it to you straight hit. There's no way the Clientele would beat us anyway. I love that Red, having grown up in this weirdly digitized, highly democratic society, which literally votes on the way the world should be, is using these terminals, even though it's almost certainly allowing the bad guys to track her to some extent.
Looks promising. Maybe not for your knees.
What the hell does that mean? So, let's take a look at Sybil. Oh wait, no, we already got the comment from her, from him about her. Let's unslot that and slot it into something else, so that we can grab, So yes, this one summons a companion to help you in fights, but if you slot it into something else, it mostly affects whether or not cells will spawn. I do actually want Crash back. Let's have Crash on A. You guys don't need to see this. I'll be back in a second. Oh yes, and so I do also want to point out that we've now unlocked limiters, because that's yet another one of these sets of mechanics that they include. They almost always have a challenge mode. They always have a wide variety of like physically interesting skills with different physical properties, as well as just things like damage, that move in different ways, that shoot in different ways, that affect things in different ways, that interact in different ways, and they also love to have optional... what's the word for... Like, what do they call it in golf? Handicaps. Handicaps that you can activate to usually earn bonus XP. So, much like the individual characters stored in your sword, these will unlock stories as you go. So I'm going to activate this one, which is... Each of them is based on one of the enemies in the game as well. So this is based on the bad cells, which is the tiny useless guys. Roll to be recycled. Features pellet blaster, burst shockwave. Vulnerable to unarmored frame and cannot detect cover. Preferences, cool dark places and early termination. I know that feeling, to be honest. So yeah, terminated in total 168 million. Terminated by user 35. Does that mean that other people are fighting in this city and trying to save themselves from the from being processed? Or maybe that's people... what would be amazing is if this game actually kept a count, you know, an online feature where it kept count of all the things that have been destroyed in every game anyone's been playing, of any version of the game anyone's been playing anyway, any instance of it. 35 terminated by me.
Something's happened. In here, they can do their worst.
I love these cameras, incidentally, because what is one of the fundamental things about Red? She's a celebrity. She's absolutely a celebrity. Oh, a fun little detail, by the way. When it's paused, your final attack will always fit into the remaining space, which is why it's useful to have a breach as your final attack. You can use up almost all of the bar, and then you can fit an entire gigantic breach attack into a couple of centimeters of the remaining bar space. What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, the cameras. So yeah, it's just a really neat little detail, the way they include the snapshots being flashed up in front of you. Because let's be honest, if this is a world that has anything like paparazzi, then it's definitely a world in which someone as well known and beloved as Red is definitely going to want to be escaping the paparazzi, and it kind of... it's characterful, and it also encourages you to hate these things. These cells would be irritating if not for the fact that you're... oh, okay, I'm completely wrong about that, huh. I thought the teleport did a little bit of damage if you teleported through something, but apparently not. Oh, I made it my friend. That's inconvenient. I literally forgot that I had, in fact, installed the Make a Friend ability into my jaunt. It's not a bad idea, because usually you're jaunting when you're running away in between turn... That's what the thing is called. In between your pause time turn ability recharging.
No sweat.
But,
So let me get this straight. The Camerarata, they think they can stop you with these process things. But you're just getting stronger.
Yep, that's true, but I think these ones may have been sent by the Camerarata. That's a hard pun to pronounce, actually. Can I go in any of these buildings? Don't believe so. Anyway, I was talking about something, but I forgot what it was, and my voice is starting to give out because, as I've said, I'm still very ill. So, that's going to be all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. If you like this, you can also follow me on Twitter for updates, stream announcements, and one-tweet micro-reviews, or why not donate to me via Patreon or Ko-fi, or just share my work. Thank you so much for watching.